So I'm definitely on fire today, and I'm holding it back because so much is going on right now, but it's all unfolding according to plan. And part of that plan is the fall of America, and which would be the fall of Rome, the fall of any superpower that has, ruled in any civilization, time, and epic, has always fallen. And Rome was, the prime example of that. So, what the Illuminati have dedicated most of their work to in the Armageddon Conspiracy Patreon is writing about Rome in its parallel to American society today, and how it's actually the same thing because it's still ruled by the elite, or the old world order, or the optimates, or the patrician class. It's still the same thing. It hasn't changed. Just because there's a president and a house, and democracy is what says that the government is for the people, by the people, for the people. It is actually a disguised, plutocratic, oligarchic technocracy that is of the elite, by the elite, and for the elite, is what a democracy is now. And obviously that's gotten infiltrated, and now it's basically how much money it is that you have that determines you winning. And that money is based on the free market Zionist capitalist system, which is a predatory system that has taken everything away from the people and given it to a small elite power, certain families that have held power throughout the millennia. And that is what is clear, is the truth that is coming forward more and more as time goes on, is this secret is actually been in plain sight the whole time. But the people have been the miseducation, the the mind control, the propaganda, all of that has kept the people at bay. But as there's more and more things happening, and the people are starting to see the truth, that are certain moves being made for the people, or are they certain moves being made to support a system, a predatory system of capitalism, is what people are beginning to see here. And it's just like, once I found the Illuminati, I got enlightened to what was really going on. And it's not like, the truth isn't like all sunshine and rainbows, because you see the lies, and like just the big lie, and that's been told to hold this whole thing together, this whole reality, that's just a big fucking lie. Like you get angry, and you should be, because the Illuminati even do say, you definitely should be mad, because it's a mad world, and it's time for people are starting to show that they're not there's two sides going on, because you do got your extreme woke Democrats, and then you got the MAGA Republicans, which right now I'm in the middle, so I'm able to see, because I'm coming with my perspective is a meritocratic illuminatist, I'm not a national Christian Zionist Republican. I'm not a woke Abrahamic liberal Democrat either. I'm a meritocratic illuminatist. So that's how I'm able to see both sides. And once you're out of something, you're able to see the viewpoint of where you are, where it came from, and how it was flawed. Because even as a Christian, that's what I was doing. I was, reading the Bible. Jesus Christ was my Lord and Savior. You know what I'm saying? Because I accepted that, I was going to heaven. All my sins were forgiven. All my problems are solved. The whole world's problems are solved because, just if they believe in Jesus. And then I found out that was not the answer. And a lot of Christians are going to be very disappointed when they find that out too. Because right now everything is falling apart like it should be. Like democracy's falling apart because certain things that certain regimes or what's the word I'm looking for, administrations are doing are definitely cutting us off from allies that we had, and kind of making us a rogue. Actually, it is making us a rogue nation, because that's actually what the Illuminati have been talking about in all their writings that they've been doing. Is happening with what America's doing, is making itself a rogue nation that's gonna be standing pretty much on its own, but is not going to be able to do that. And that is why the empire is falling. The capitalist democracy empire is falling, but they don't want you to know that, so they're gonna give you propaganda. They're gonna give you the religions, all that stuff to keep control. But that system is crumbling, and there actually shouldn't be any fear about any of this, though. There should actually be celebration, because once people find out that the system is collapsing, and that the leaders that are involved in making decisions are not making them for the interest of the people. The government isn't doing this for the people, which that's what a government's supposed to. It's supposed to optimize all of its citizens to its optimum potential and actualization, which is what a meritocracy does. And with the meritocracy, there's two other components, which are illumination, which is a centralized religion that people can gather because it's the truth, and it is you are illumination, which is the secret religion of the Illuminati, which says that everyone is a divine spark and every one of us is on the path to become God. So, and then they explain that, and that's a central unified religion that the people can gather around, which is based on ontological mathematics, and which is the discovery of the grand unified theory of everything, which solves the Cartesian dualism, answers all questions, and this is actually what the elite know and are keeping from everybody. So, and then it comes with the new economic system, which is national and socialist capitalism, which is not free market Zionist predatory capitalism, which gives all the money to the rich billionaire elites and allows them to gain more and more, widening the gap between the elite and the people, which we are finally at the end of seeing, though, because everything that they built is collapsing, because they do need the support of the people, which they are definitely losing. And even like the Illuminati, I've been writing about this and brilliantly writing about this in their Patreon posts and explaining what is actually going on, which is the fall of America. But this is what gives way to for a phoenix to rise, for something new to come in its place, which is going to be a meritocracy. And even right now, the truth is like China is definitely the new superpower, because they are based on a communism, but that's actually closer to what things should be than what they are in America, which is crazy. But it does in a way unify the people, but it doesn't reward merit. It keeps everyone at the same pay and stuff, so that actually doesn't fully work out all the way, and then it turns into and also a regime, so it's not a fair system, because then like a doctor gets paid as much as a janitor. So but they do have this system going on, and they actually have a centralized religion, which is like non-theism, and their economic system is definitely socialist capitalism, and they're definitely the superpower now. And for America to accept this, that's going to be part of its fall, though, because we've always known we were the top dogs and stuff like that, but America's not anymore. But they're gonna make it. They're always that's just, but that's how dialectical evolution happens, and that's why the great civilizations of the past have always fallen, because they've actually been based on the elite and the corrupt leaders that run them, making the decisions, which leads to their fall. So, I've definitely taken it upon myself to, since 2016, since I found the Illuminati, to definitely make it my sacred cause to bring this information into the world, because it is the key to humanity's liberation. And I wrote a book called The Grand Unified Theory, The Key to Humanity's Liberation, because that the Illuminati know the Grand Unified Theory of everything. But they are the intellectual elite. They aren't the the elite that are they are a breakaway civilization, but they are not part of the hierarchy that enslaves us at all. They are actually in complete opposition against the elite, and that's part of the Armageddon conspiracy, because the elite flipped the Illuminati, who are the Pythagorean Illuminati, who are the real Jedi, who are the rebellion. They are the real rebellion. Always have been responsible for the revolutions of the past against the elites, against all of them. Have had its hand in throughout time, causing revolutions and rebellions, and still exist to this day. It's my mission to for this to go viral, for this information to go viral, and I'm gonna keep every day working on that. So if people want to help me out with that, There is a movement. Definitely, like all of the members of the Illuminati are involved in overthrowing the elite, and the Illuminati, one of the Grand Masters of the Illuminati, revealed in their work that at the time of writing their work, which was in 2012, there were 6,000 members. Around 6,000 members, and that was to oppose the organization, which are the elites, 6,000 members that run the world. And this is way past conspiracy theory and do they exist, and no, this is way past that. So I'm not even giving that any time of day, because we are past that now. You're either in the rebellion or you're not, and the time's gonna come where you either accept that you're a slave, or you liberate yourself and then fight for freedom in the rebellion, just like Star Wars has shown, and just recently in the show Andor, which that show, oh my God, that was showing the story. You know what I'm saying? The saga, the rebellion, the empire, just showing everything that's happening, going on. So it really is coming down to either you're supporting the empire, you're supporting the rebellion, or you're in the middle and you're not doing anything, which is worse than both sides, because the Illuminati call that the Ignavi, and in the next realm they actually in purgatory and stuff, they're not progressing, so they're not actually they're gonna be recycled and have to go around for another go, and they are not gonna get into the fields of Elysium, if you know what I'm talking about. So, it's definitely important to know what's going on right now. And I have found that, like, I watch TikTok and Facebook and social media to get to see what's going on in the world, and to see where people are, at in their awakening, and what everybody's saying, what each side is saying about what the truth is, and just gathering it all the information, and just some of the current events that are happening right now that I would like to address is, like, one thing is like, this is, like, for me to say this is talking against a whole paradigm regime, like Reich, actually, because it's the Christian nationalist Reich regime that I'm speaking against, which actually most MAGA people are involved in as well. Is this extreme? It's an extreme movement. It's the Christian nationalist MAGA cult, and it is extreme because first of all, the Christian nationalist part of it, there's people like Charlie Kirk, who is a Christian nationalist. He supports Donald Trump. He believes, worships Jesus Christ. He believes, he is a Christian. And that is what he is. So since I found the Illuminati, you get clear sight, when you become enlightened, and then because you have the courage to be able to leave behind the things that were keeping you trapped, which Christianity is one of those things that keep people trapped in the reincarnational loop, because I was a Christian. I got baptized. I was studying the Bible. You know what I'm saying? You know, because you're looking for the spiritual experience. You have them. You're looking for answers. You give your life away to Christianity, which says that if you believe in Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, you are going to heaven. All your sins are forgiven, and you don't have to worry about anything. And that is what they believe. So I found out there was more than that. And I found out that that was not the answer. So, you know, and I actually, you know, as I found that out, you start, expanding your knowledge into other, like Buddhism, Taoism. You know, you study a little Quran, you study a little, Torah, a little Jew. You know, you study it all, which is actually what the first degree of the Illuminati is about, is gathering all the religions and then deconstructing them and then creating your own mythos, religion of your own, is actually what the first degree is about. So that's what you do in the path to enlightenment, is, you leave behind your stone cold, you know what I'm saying, you will die for this beliefs so you can learn about something new. So Charlie Kirk is, worships Jesus Christ, and you should not worship any man. And Jesus Christ was a man, but the Christians believe that he was God in a man's body. So how can you be both? Like you can either be one or the other. And the thing is you should definitely not worship any man. And I wrote a whole book called The Hidden Truth of Jesus Christ for a reason, which is based on Illuminatist and teachings and illumination. Because Jesus isn't exactly who the world thinks he is. And it's made that way so it was made to deify him and make a religion to control people. So, going back to Charlie Kirk, because I'm hitting every point though. Like, that's what I'm saying, is once you find, I've been involved in since 2016. It's 2025 now. And I'm making video after video of current events, of things that are going on. I'm not saying the same thing over and over again. I'm not referring to ancient holy books. I'm not, doing biblical inerrancy and stuff. I'm going straight off of illumination, which I found through the Illuminati, and talking about the truth through a illuminatist perspective, which is definitely enlightened. So Charlie Kirk is, I'm just explaining who he is though, because he does go around he does represent a certain agenda, a Christian, nationalist, Republican, MAGA agenda. And, I'm working on deconstructing all these things so people can see the propaganda, can see behind the curtain of why these certain things exist, because they are to gain people's minds, mind control, and to sway people's votes and thoughts, and that's actually the main war that's going on. So as an intelligence agent, because I'm definitely that, like, you could say that I'm definitely a secret agent of the Illuminati. My path has led me to be this, to go to the furthest lengths to get to the truth, which led me to the Illuminati. And Charlie Kirk is, the Christian nationalist MAGA movement. It's just kind of showing its true colors though, because one thing Charlie Kirk said was, if you were like, if he's obviously against abortion because that's a biblical, inerrant thing that they use to promote, the power of the Bible and stuff. Because, but what he said was, if a woman gets raped, he believes that she should have the right to get the baby aborted. And I'm just like, that's one I can't really go along with, Charlie. Like, if a woman gets raped, I'd be like, she definitely has the right to get the baby aborted, because it wasn't her consent to, to have that happen to her. So, I don't agree with Charlie Kirk on that. And so, a lot, because there's different places I could go, but Charlie Kirk, the MAGA movement too. Like right now, the MAGA movement is kind of like showing its head, because like I saw on TikTok, like there was this guy going around, and there's this a MAGA woman, like a MAGA Karen, and she starts going off about God and how he's gonna save everything, and Jesus, and Trump, and all this stuff. And then the guy asked her, is like, so God is a he? And then she's like, yeah, he's a he. And he's like, oh, so he has XY chromosome. And she's like, she's like, I'm a minister. And she wasn't able to she just wasn't able to really, like, she made herself look stupid. And so everything's falling apart right now. And I'm just like, I'm seeing each little part of this. And right now I'm just addressing the Christian nationalist movement, because also Donald Trump is using this as a part of his power, because he's promoting the Christian nationalist Zionist MAGA movement, which is basically saying Donald Trump is the savior, and he was saved by God. With the assassination, most of the MAGA people believe that he is like the Messiah, and that he's going to save America, which right now he's actually making America a rogue nation. And Charlie Kirk, I'm just connecting every little part of this, because Charlie Kirk represents Donald Trump, represents Christianity, represents MAGA. And he calls himself an intellectual, and he actually just went to Cambridge right now, and he got waxed in Cambridge. Like, he got schooled in Cambridge, waxed, like on the floor. He got waxed on everything, on foreign policy, on religion, on everything. And he was, I will say, he wasn't in, he was out of his country, out of his league, but he got shown up what's up, and now actually people are seeing that, and then they're getting woke up to who Charlie Kirk really is. And so that's a whole bunch of people waking up now to the Christian nationalist, like Zionist movement, Trump movement too, because even people are starting to recognize, Trump, and how, he's making these bad decisions about the tariffs, and, all the stuff going on, Israel and Gaza. And, like, people are, like, not believing this, but they're not going along with it. But it's what's happening. And it is because the agenda is, it's even if it was Democratic or Republican, it would be for the elite, because the elite run everything through predatory free market Zionist capitalism. So it's the system that has to fall. It's the system that has to be changed. And National Socialist capitalism, meritocracy, and illumination is what is going to be the phoenix that rises out of Abrahamism's fall, which is Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, because they're all warring out right now. Because they're saying that what they believe in is true. That's why they're going to war with everybody. Christianities will fight till the end, to say Jesus Christ is their Lord and Savior. They'll fight anyone, or they won't fight them, but they'll be like, oh, it's okay, but they have like crusade and massacre in the past, but basically everyone's going to hell unless you believe Jesus Christ died on the cross and and forgave you and came here for your sins, and you're forgiven, and he rose in 3 days, and if you don't believe that, you're going to hell. So this is getting exposed. Like, this lie is part of getting exposed right now. It's losing its power. The facade is losing its power. And Charlie Kirk going to Cambridge and getting waxed on everything, and because he was he was showing he was getting mad, frustrated, angry. He was getting really mad, and he was trying to do insults and stuff, but he got shown up, and it was funny to see because it showed that movement's true colors. So all of the the schools that he's going around to now, he's talking at all these different schools, all these colleges, all these universities, because his thing is to go around and go just debate these people at these colleges, who are young students and stuff, but they're smart, and they're asking questions. But his whole point is just to shut people down and say that Donald Trump's right, the regime is right, the administration's right, Christianity is right, Jesus Christ is Lord and Savior, but he went to across to Britain, and he got served up, and now all these people are gonna see who he really is. So he's done. Charlie Kirk is done now, and this is like a kind of like a shift, because people like Donald Trump know that Charlie Kirk is a big influencer. So the influencers are starting to lose their power. The administrations are starting to lose their power. The religious systems are starting to lose their power, and people are definitely looking for the truth. And that's why I'm glad that I found the Illuminati, because I am definitely ahead of the game. And I'm, the day is coming when everything falls, when the Illuminati they're gonna come forward, and then people are gonna be like, wow, we should have been doing this all along. And that day is definitely coming, and there's gonna have to be no violent revolutions for it to happen. It's just gonna dialectically happen, and that's like the final thing, because the violent revolutions have not worked out in the past, so they're not gonna really work out again. So this is gonna be a velvet it's not gonna be velvet, because people have had enough of this shit. But the system is not going to be supported anymore. It actually already isn't. So yeah, so the whole I wanted to talk about the notes from the Armageddon Conspiracies writing, which the Illuminati author David Sinclair writes every week they have been writing for the past 2 years through the Armageddon Conspiracy, just long essays and books that are endless about Abraham, about basically the Armageddon Conspiracy, which is showing what Abrahamism is, and what Illumination is, talking about conspiracy theories, connecting all of them together, because the Armageddon Conspiracy is like the grand unified theory of conspiracies. So it's what you get to when you get through all of them and connect them all together. So David Sinclair is the author of all these different articles, and I actually got into contact with him through their Patreon, and for a year now I've been writing with them about the rebellion and the Illuminati and the resistance, and to the old world order's system of enslavement, which is actually what's been going on. So the illusion is getting revealed. And there, obviously, I understand that this was part of my agreement of coming here, was knowing that this was going to be happening at this time. The system was going to be falling, and that's actually who I am, as being part of the Templars, because the Templars are here to restore civilization once it's fallen. Like, that's, if you watch like any of the Templar stuff that they've been coming out with, Timothy Hogan, who's a Grand Master of the Templar, he gives that secret out because they're revealing certain secrets that they hold, which is what I am definitely a part of, and for the restoration of civilization at the fall of it, because everything has been withheld. So and I've obviously been through, this is not my first life. I've done this through multiple lives, so that's why I'm retaining this knowledge and just passing it on in this age, in this time. So, I could talk about, the so, the what was written about in the last week's thing, which I wrote my part on it too, which was all about memory of what hasn't happened yet, which is kind of always about remembering the future and stuff like that, because it does, you can, in your dreams, which is your access to Omega World, their time is not linear. You can see different timelines. You can see into the future. You can see into the past. I have this ability, and so does all of humanity. But they don't want people to know this to keep the power that they have. Is our ability to be able to be multidimensional. So this article this week was about the echoes between the fall of Rome and the fall of America, and that's so that they're saying that the fall of Rome and the decline of America share deep structural, psychological, and cultural parallels. So they went over all the parallels that Rome had and America has, because it's the same thing happening right now. Because everything happens in cycles. So we are literally, Rome is America. So we can literally consider ourselves Rome. And we were great once, but we're in the fall now. So, American pride and stuff is gonna, we have to reclaim it. Both empires transitioned from hard power, military industrial dominance, to soft power, ideology, religion, and entertainment. So hard power and soft power, America does have hard power right now. That's actually the last thing that we have right now is hard power, which is our military. So that's pretty much the only thing saving our ass right now. Soft power is ideology, religion, and entertainment. We're in America, ideology, religion, and entertainment. That's all out the window too, because the groups of religions are losing power. Because they're not the truth. They're built on false foundations. Entertainment is Hollywood's done because it's all lies and built on secret things, and it's just everything is completely collapsing right now. So basically Nietzsche, they said that his words on the death of God symbolically apply to the fall of Rome and now to America. So they talk about Nietzsche and what he was saying about the fall of God being, symbolically to America, the fall of America. So that's what's happening right now, is the fall of God, and God being the demiurge, the false illusionary system that has keeping people enslaved for millennia. So this is actually the best thing in the world that is happening right now. So that's what needs to be understood too, because the fear needs to go too, because people are like, oh my God, everything is completely falling and failing, and I should be scared. But you should not be, because it is the fall of the false God, which is the demiurge, which is Abrahamism, which is free market predatory Zionist capitalism, and which is democracy. That's the fall. That is the fall of God. The loss of unifying ideal or identity leads to existential disorientation. So, disorientation meaning unifying ideal or identity. America is losing that with just all the division happening in America, which is orchestrated anyway by the elite to keep us disunified. So even like everything is the elite know about everything before it happens. So because they created it. The greatness of Rome, built by elite families, a creative minority of talented, ambitious, often psychopathic individuals. So, talking about how the greatness of Rome was built on psychopathic, talented, ambitious individuals. Like who our leaders are right now, with the rich billionaire plutocrats are psychopath, but they're ambitious and talented, but they're psychopathic narcissists. So the Rome was also had these people in charge too, and they obviously dug their grave, which is what is happening now. So, Rome rewarded pro-social psychopathy, violent, intelligent, and loyal to Rome's glory. So, like, the rewarding here in our society nowadays, it's like that's kind of what's rewarded in social media and stuff is the psychopathy of free market Zionist capitalism and consumerism, and just like the however many views you have is what your worth is, and all that. You're like, what are you known for? Like and your social profile and stuff. Like, what do people know you for? is who you are. So, had a brutal core: slavery, death games, conquest, but paired with engineering, law, and culture. So, bread and circuses, the Colosseum, the Illuminati have brought up that like X Factor and American Idol are like bread and circuses. All the entertainment, Netflix, all the different shows, bread and circuses. UFC and stuff, brutal savagery combat. Football, all that stuff, bread and circuses to keep a population from revolting. And Rome had the same thing. So, but it was also paired with engineering, law, and culture. So, culture, not so much with America. Engineering and law, yeah, because the law is what is upheld for the old system. And actually, people are actually saying they've had enough with that shit. So, people are going to see more people not obeying laws anymore because they've had enough with it. But conquest is there, because you see, Gulf of America, trying to take over Greenland and stuff. You see the Golden Dome getting put up right now, for power. It's all a show for power, but it's cyclic. All of the powers fall. So, the decline of Rome. Rome fell when the elite stopped producing talent. The meritocratic system gave way to inherited power. So, Rome, started out glorious and stuff. Was a meritocrat, was a republic. Senate. All had the things for the best people. Was for the people. That's why they started rising in glory and to greatness. But then it got corrupted, and by the darkness, and turned into an empire, and then once corruption gets in, it turns other people corrupt too. It just, that's what it does. Like, unless you're able to remain pure through it and not be corrupted, it will spread its tentacles and just corrupt even uncorruptible people. That's what corruption does, and darkness does, and even now I feel it just talking about it. So it became reliant on mercenaries and barbarians, outsourced hard power. So, that talking about America, doing black ops and stuff, and other, all the things that aren't in the books, not talked about. If the people knew about all the black ops that America did, if they got access to those files, there would be a definite revolt, and that's actually what part of my mission is getting out all the black operations of America, being involved in the black ops, because I've been involved in black ops, being in my lab, being a military abductee, which is black ops. So Christianity, a slave morality, replaced Rome's master morality. So once Christianity took over, it became more passive, because Christianity is passive. being it did like being a pagan is not a passive religion. It's actually liberation. So that's what Christianity is definitely about doing, is enslaving and not liberating. Saying that you need a savior and not liberation. There's a difference between salvation and liberation. Humanity needs to be liberated. So the spiritual empire, the Catholic Church, overtook the military empire, mimicking its grandeur but lacking its force. So, that's talking about the Catholic Church taking over the empire, or military empire, mimicking its grandeur but lacking its force. The same thing that's happening now. Like, the grandeur of our military might is supreme, but that is, if you read The Art of War, that's definitely not what everything is dependent on, is the military. Actually, in The Art of War, they do actually talk about how ninjutsu is the key to winning a war. And definitely has been spending my time developing my martial art, Osirian Ninjutsu, so I am a ninja. So all this is obviously mapping out. I'm talking about all this in notes and stuff to show the enlightenment of the decline and the fall of America, which is happening right now, but explaining also that this is all part of the plan. It's all part of dialectical evolution, which is how the universe actually works out. It's a self-solving mathematical equation. So even tyranny cannot be even go on forever. They cannot enslave everyone forever. It's actually inevitably impossible, or it's impossible. So the people of the world will wake up and unite and identify the enemy, and we will restore the world. So, man, I could just keep going about. They talk about loss of hard power. America lost wars despite technological superiority. Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan. Talking about how hard power doesn't even do anything because we lost those wars. Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan. What did we win there? There was no winning in those wars. Now relies on drones and AI, disembodied warfare. Basically, military power is, back in the day, when World War II and stuff, like the military power, that was hard power because people were hard as fuck. Storming beaches and shit, like, and being hard. That is hard. Like the World War II veterans and stuff, they are hard. But now it's soft power. It's, AI and drones and, people in, air-conditioned units, in Las Vegas, bombing a place in Afghanistan. So that's hard block. You want, like, we're the people in the military, I'm not saying that our military isn't hard, but there has been a loss of the hardness. And the only way to get that back is for people to fight. So, hey, hopefully we don't. Hopefully, hopefully we really don't gotta defend our country. But actually, oh man, we'll just see. Well, I just know I got sent back. I came here to prevent the destruction of the world. So that just definitely means not fighting it, because I know about not a book, I Will Fight No More Forever, and unifying the world through illumination is my mission. So, has no more modern Caesars or Scipios, no brilliant, ruthless generals or leaders. So, with Caesar and stuff like that, like they actually compare Donald Trump to Caesar. They wrote a whole book about it, and they're no more brilliant, ruthless generals or leader. Like there are no more like the generals back in those days that would win at all costs. You know what I'm saying? Like have tactics, everything. Like the Sun Tzus and stuff like that, are now not anymore, because now they're just pawns. So that's also a loss of hard power too. So, you got the collapse pattern: crisis, rally, collapse. You got universal state, universal church, collapse, new civilization. Rome, Catholic Church, medieval Europe. You got that. That's what you get when you got churches underneath control, is like medieval Europe and stuff. So Rome's death was obvious long before it formally ended. So, just like with today with America, let's not lie to ourselves. American Empire is fallen. You know what I'm saying? We are not the superpower anymore in the world. So, with that it would be best to, ally yourself with the most powerful people. That's Survivor 101 right there. Because life is Survivor. I'm learning that more and more as I watch Survivor, the game of Survivor. So, you don't want to have, superpowers as your enemies. And then sometimes you have to, give way. Come to political diplomacy with people that are more power than you, which Donald Trump is not doing, and the administration is not doing, which is most of the time not in your best favor. You know what I'm saying? To make enemies of the powers. You know what I'm saying? To not ally yourself with the people that are stronger than you. So, elite sabotage is common in all failing civilization. Obviously, the elite's tentacles, the elite's darkness, the elite's corruption, all of that nasty corruption, that I can just feel in my bones when I can feel it, because I've had that corruption try to seep into my life, but I've been able to withhold it with the light. And so I will not be corrupted. I will not be infiltrated. I will not be. What's the word I'm looking for? what's the word I'm looking for? Subverted. I will not be compromised. So the rise of China. China is the new Rome, because a new superpower is rising, because the fall of one empire and then another empire rises. China's it. You know what I'm saying? Has centralized leadership, hard power capacity, secular ideology, national production focus, which is what America is now, is now focusing on, which is nationalism, producing our own stuff. But we are not gonna be able to do that, and America's gonna see this. Is seeing it now. So these are the changes that are gonna have to be dealt with. And how we act through this is going to determine our future. So America created its own replacement through globalization. Globalization was corrupted, by the elite and stuff, but a unified world, a one world, is what this world needs. We all have 10 fingers, 2 eyes, a nose, a soul. We are all God. That's what the core tenet of illumination is, and that is the spark in divine light that needs to be promoted by every government across the world, so that we can all adopt meritocracy and then have Star Trek civilization. So, concluding insight. History moves in cycles of rise and fall. Civilizations die spiritually before they die militarily. America, like Rome, has already died in spirit. The next creative minority and new civilization will emerge from the collapse. So, it is a good thing that America is falling, because the whole everyone being divided, all the different groups, secular groups, no one agreeing on anything, all the fighting, that all needs to go away, and we're at the end of it all. And that's what the elite always have wanted, is us to be fighting and stuff. And the Illuminati are the light. They are the ones that are in the fight. They don't debate. They're not a debating society, because they figured out everything, the answer to everything. They are waiting for humanity to find them. Because then that's when they will come out, and then we can unify and restore the world underneath one common understanding, that every soul is here to become God through the experience of life. Alright, so that is it for today. And it's just important to remember that, you create your own reality. That's why I just, wanted to finish this lesson off with a master's key for manipulating time. From my mentor, Ramtha, the Enlightened One, who is in the Illuminati. So when you wake up in the morning, your first thoughts fix the day, don't they? How many of you agree? First thoughts fix yourself, don't they? How many of you agree? Absolutely correct. How many of you woke up feeling fine until you started worrying? You fixed that, didn't you? So the study then of the great work is to manipulate reality and evolve it. You should never settle for an empty table. It should always be seen as abundant. And we should never settle for lack, because lack in any form brings about complacency, laziness, and reinforces the past and the way you think. So, just talking about that right there. You know, you wake up in the morning. I woke up, I felt good. I was feeling good because I remember my dreams, was connected with Omega World, everything that's happening there, because there's two different realities going on. And once you wake up in Omega, you wake up more in Alpha, and you know the awakening isn't like a just a walk in the park. It's you know, it's a roller coaster ride, but it's liberating, and it leads to peace. So, you know, I woke up, I felt great, and you know that is my prime being. But then, you know, you get some things in the day that come about you, problems and stuff in the day, but then it's how you handle them that matters. And you know, worrying, doubt, fear, frustration, all of that. It comes in, and it's all in the mind. And you know, you just have to be able to be a mind gladiator of the future and be able to combat all of those different things that are gonna try to hold you back, that are gonna try to tell you you can't do things. You have to do the things that you are here to do. And everybody's here for a reason. Everybody is divine. Everybody is here to live their dream, and that's why we're here. So we're all here to learn the great work, you know, which is the you know, getting in connection with our souls. Oh man. And returning to the one, which is everybody unified again, because that's actually what we're turning to, because the big bang happens and then the big crunch happens. The Illuminati explained it through a white hole and the collapse in a black hole. You know what I'm saying? So we're all returning back to the one, whether we like it or not, because we're getting sucked into a black hole. So and the black hole is actually a gateway to another dimension, which the Illuminati refer to as well as Omega World. Alright, until next time.